Goeiedag. Hoe lyk dit daai kant? Ek weet nie watter kant. Laat ek sê net daai kant.
Ek is in die Kaap.
Dis hoekom ek wil nie denk dat ek weet waar hy is. So ek moet net sê hoe lyk dit daai kant?
Dit lyk goed, dankie.
Ja goed. Ja goed.
Je weet achtbare leden. As Valerie, what say you know?
We can start now, Chair. I can see you and Mr. Mangu very properly now.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, I was about to tell them about something, but okay. Let me then take instructions. Are we all here as members, or do we have any apologies?
Chair, I have not received any apologies from members for this meeting today.
Because I don't see Honorable Shabangu. I just wanted to make sure that he is not using his phone for today's meeting. Otherwise, he disorganizes us properly with his phone. Oh, okay. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to this meeting, which is actually a visual meeting, and I'm sure we are getting used to the fact that if you are not talking, your microphone must always be muted. It will help us. I'm sure you have also observed that we are being encouraged not to use our phones, but rather use laptops or tablets. And I'm sure we are doing exactly that. Otherwise, today's meeting is for us to talk. We will be dealing with the consideration of the draft committee report on the 2020-21 budget and strategic plan and annual performance plans of the Department of Transport. We are required today to formulate our observations, and we must recommend. Before we do that, I have seen yesterday emails being exchanged between the members and the secretariat in terms of questions that has not been properly responded to by the entities. And members were saying to the secretariat, can you guide us on this particular issue? And I did reply, although I was not a secretariat, to the members that time permitting will take this matter up. I wish to take this time to indicate that it will be correct as a procedure for us to first insist that those questions that have not been answered should be answered. The entities that is not answered, we should write back to the department and emphasize that we want answers. We want those questions to be answered. and give them time frame. Failure to that will then, as a report, that will finally go to the, hello? There's somebody speaking here without giving a right. Can we mute our microphones? Otherwise, if we fail to get answers from them, we'll then write a report that will finally be a report that is submitted to the Speaker of Parliament as a formal report raising our observation that some entities are not answering our questions. But for now, if I have to advise, I think it will be proper that we should emphasize that we want those questions answered. Right back and emphasize that they should answer our questions. Those were my opening remarks. I'll allow members to say something after the formal apologies. Valerie?
Chair, I've seen there's a notice now from Ms. Noluchungu. She's just struggling to get access to the meeting. There's a network problem, but she'll join shortly. But that's the only apology that we've received now so far.
You know, we used to get apologies that members are still on their way, transport is late. Now is access to the network. Let's accept that.
Chair. I'm in, Chair.
You are in. Your transport has arrived. Thank you very much, honorable member. We are all now here. Members, let me allow you, those of you who had concerns, do we agree that we should write back to the department and emphasize that the questions should be responded to? Let me allow members to say something briefly.
Chair, if I may.
Honorable Mangu, can I say something, Chair?
Yes, say something, Honorable Mangu.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chair, for the guidance. Maybe colleagues might not be aware, I'm one of those people who raised the concern. I believe the questions from the department, and it's not the first time that we just get shabby responses. And I think I felt like to raise this with the Secretariat and copy the chairperson. So thank you for the guidance, Chair. And I fully support your proposal. Thank you, Chair. Maybe what we should do is to highlight specifically what we believe has not been answered to assist the Secretariat in writing either to the department or the entity, whoever is applicable. Thank you, Chairperson.
That is in order. Thank you, Honorable Mangu. Honorable McDonald, are you covered?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm mostly covered, Chair. I also would like to second your proposal. I think that is the correct procedure to follow, and that would give us guidance on what we would do next if failure to reply to our questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Today's agenda, honorable members, has about 3 items on it. The first one is this consideration of the report which was tabled. We'll make our observations and recommendations. The second issue is going to be the proposal from the chair, actually, that we should look at the possibility of using the week of the 9th of June to have a meeting where we will get a briefing about the STER bill, that is the Economic Regulation of Transport Bill. if member, we'll talk about that when we are there. And then the consideration of the minutes of the 11th and 18th and closure. Can we agree with that? Honorable Manu?
Chair, thank you very much. Is it possible, time permitting, that we can discuss? I think we are owed an update of what is happening with COVID, specifically in line of level 3. Even if it is early in level 3, we are always getting feedback from the media, which I don't think is right. Also, is there an opportunity, if time permits, that we can discuss possible oversight where we are at the moment, not to travel together, because going to level 3 and what is happening in our space, I think we need to do some oversight wherever possible where we are locked down. Thank you, Chair. Time permitting.
Honorable members, I think we hear Valerie, do we have a department in attendance with us here?
Chair, the people from the department are here. Let me just see what the names that we will receive from the department was Ms. Mpondu and Mr. Ramansi. So they should be online, and Mr. Ramansi is definitely online. And I know there were also people from the Deputy Minister's office that will probably join us in the next few minutes. But there are people from the department, and they definitely will hear what the committee's concerns are regarding those responses.
But they may not be ready, I presume, to have a report intact and ready on COVID-19 for today.
Chair, no, because that was not on the agenda. But as I indicated to you in our discussions before the start of the meeting, is that the committee has time to attend to other business. There is space in the program for the week of the 9th because there wasn't any other agenda items for that week because it was an oversight week. So there is space on the program.
Okay, Honorable Manu, as we discuss the second item, we will discuss those things, time permitting. Thank you. All right, honorable members, we're not going to get presentation today because we have gone through the report itself, which has been sent to us, and the minutes, we should be able to give our own observations and recommendations. We are going to allow members to do exactly that. Let's start and get hands that would want to contribute. Observations and recommendations. Who wants to take it first?
Honorable Chair.
Yes, Honorable Ketamabala. Mondisa. Who's next? Any taker? Only one. Okay. Let's get Honorable Ketamabala to say what are his observations and recommendations. Platform is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. First of all, Chairperson, I want to thank you as the Chairperson and the committee and the staff of the committee for the job well done. But my chairperson is just that I want to check about Sanlam because we never discuss anything about Sanlam. When are they going to present their own APP and budget strategic and their strategic plan? Because it seems that if we are concluding and finalizing our report, it will be unfair for us just to finalize the report without having their input and checking what is their challenges and what is their thinking about their functions. If Chair, if I can get clarity on that one, I can come back. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. Valerie, you want to clarify that?
Chair, I saw an email coming overnight from the department. Last week, they said they will try to get the SANRAL report table by this week. It seems like they are in the process of doing so, Chair, but they had a struggle to get the documents through to Parliament. But that, as I said, it was overnight. I'll follow up with them today to assist them to get those documents tabled. So if that can be dealt with in the next day, so if then the members would probably see a report by tomorrow or Thursday. The issue, Chair, though, is the committee has to report on the budget of the department by the latest the 1st of June, which is next week, Monday. So the question, I think, before the committee is there sufficient time to call SANRAL, I don't know why I go SANRAL, to SANRAL.
Chairperson, anything is possible.
Yeah. I hope Honorable Ketamabala, you are listening. What we can do from where I'm seated is to raise our displeasure in terms of the late submission by Sandra and get the reasons why. As we are pushing them to submit, we must get why are they struggling, because under normal circumstances, we're not struggling with them since this committee was here. So we must get facts, what is happening in that space, but we cannot stop and wait for an entity that is struggling to present. We'll deal with that accordingly, but we need to move forward. As Valerie says. Honorable MacDonald.
Chair, thank you. Chair, one of the things that we might, as a consideration or to the department, is that we should get to a point that on the issue of SANRAL, that there's a clear indication on what's going to happen about e-tolls. I mean, this is now dragged on for way too long, Chair. I think there needs to be some sort of finalization from the executive that we know where we're going. Because this could have serious impacts on SANRAL's funding model and also the projections and for the next foreseeable future. On the same point, also. It's very difficult under the circumstances of COVID-19 that because of this budget, basically we're discussing something that has completely changed. But one of the things that the department also needs to is that we need to finalize this thing of road accident fund. To put things in perspective, that currently. They are not earning the fuel levy that they used to, so it will put them further in debt, and that means that that entity most probably is going closer to R1 billion in debt. and there's no finalization on how they're going to pay their claimants. Okay. If we can maybe also have a finalization on if there's going to be a bailout for SANRAL, for RAF, and or what are the other alternatives. Thank you, Chair.
We hear that loud and clear, but I was saying, I think we do understand each other when it comes to issues of Sandra. We'll also take this matter up with the department. Any observation and recommendations from the members? Honorable McDonald? Nothing. So we don't have observations from members. Members are happy.
Chair, can I just add something?
Yes.
Unlike the previous years, we gave very detailed minutes to assist members with working through the report. So we have covered in terms of the observations and the recommendations, I think most of the issues that members mentioned, and the remaining issues in terms of questions of clarity were those that were submitted to the department and to the entities. And then so we've covered most of those issues, Chair. I just want to know, Chair, the issues of late reports that were submitted. We will go back to the report and just cover that in more detail so that the department knows there is a level of displeasure on those reports not reaching Parliament at the time that it's supposed to get here, but just so that members know. When a report is late, the minister has to give reasons to why a report was late. So the expectation is that when the committee, when the SANRAL report is stable, there should be a letter from the minister, and that will give the committee more insight into why that report did not reach Parliament on time.
Okay. Any take, members? Well, let me say, in the absence of anything from the members, going through the report myself, I have observed that the transport integrated planning for quarter 1 and 2 was not doing well. Underspending, generally, even by the department, other entities, although this one was actually the one which was signaling a high percentage of under spending, and of course the civil aviation for quarter 1 and 2. The spending was not according to the projections. I want to put it on record. Or the third one is the issue of the spending when it comes to employee compensation. The vacancies that are still there, that are indicated as a reason why the department is underspending when it comes to employee compensation. I want to raise a point that we have given now, I think, a bit of a time to the department to actually correct itself when it comes to the issues of vacancies that are there, which must be filled. The department must decide and close this matter of vacancies. Whether those vacancies are no longer necessary. If they are necessary, why are they taking so long to fill the vacancies that needs to be filled, so that whatever they are giving us as a projection for employee compensation is actually what they are going to use for the year. The other issue I've noticed is the issue of transformation. I think in the report, they are reporting about fast-tracking transformation. But truth be told, as we listen to the entities and you listen to the department itself, that is becoming a rhetoric. I, from the chair's position, am of the view that the department and the entities are not doing enough in that space, unless there's something that I don't know. I want to raise a concern when it comes to that the issue of transformation, as they talk about it, it should not be a talk show, but that issue should actually be addressed. We should have concrete, clear steps in terms of how is this issue being addressed. When you talk about, for an example, rail, road transport, and other activities. When you go to roads, for an example, for how long are we going to remain with these big construction companies, which are doing a good job, of course, but not bringing the previously disadvantaged contractors that are emerging also to the fore and develop them, so that South Africa gets to a point where we want it to get to, where people share the wealth of this country as we envisage. I think by and large, as I was perusing these reports, these are the issues I want to place on record as observations and recommendations, members and the Secretariat. Otherwise, we'll take the observations and recommendations from the minutes, as Valerie has said, and give a proper report of this portfolio committee. Can we pass this item? Are we happy? Thank you very much. Let's get to the next item. I've said the next item will be the possible meeting by the committee during the week of the 9th, which was initially meant to be an oversight week. I have proposed that during that week, we should be able to get a briefing on this economic regulation of transport bill, so that we don't remain behind in terms of dealing with the bills that we need to deal with. But let me allow Valerie to give us a brief and allow members thereafter to say something around that issue. Valerie?
Chair, as I've indicated, the week of the 9th to the 12th of June in Parliament's program it was an oversight week originally when the program was put out. So the committee did not have an agenda item for that week. I see now it's a committee week. I'm not sure if it's still an oversight week, Chair. I will have to check that, because I heard Mr. Manglu talking about the possibility of more clustered, individualized oversight, which I will clarify and give a response to hopefully before the end of this meeting. But Chair, we were talking yesterday as a Secretariat. The economic regulation of transport bill was tabled earlier this year. And we were thinking that we could possibly, as a committee, can have a briefing on the bill before Parliament goes into recess. And the reason for that is mostly for logistical reasons. If the committee can have the briefing before Parliament goes into recess, it will allow for time during the recess period to advertise the bill over a longer period, maybe 4 to 5 weeks for public comment. Because when the members come back, the House chairs indicated in the guidelines for the third term that committees now have to go back to legislation and to appointments. And so the focus mostly for the third term will be on legislation, and the committee has still the civil aviation bill. There is still the road accident benefit scheme bill that will have to be attended to by the committee. So, and once that, the third, and then there are other issues that the members want follow up on. AXA, members raise a follow-up meeting with AXA on the India and the Brazil investments. There need to be follow-up with the department on the revised strategic plan. So there are other meetings that still has to take place in the third term. So having the briefing before Parliament goes into recess will open up the program for more business in the third term. Because as members know, in the fourth term it is the annual report is BRRR. So that is the request that we thought we would bring to the committee today to consider.
Honorable members, there it is. Let me hear your voices. Are we fine with that?
Chair, yes, thank you, Chair. I think it will be fine for us to have a briefing in that week, if possible, and maybe if we can get the researcher and our committee researcher to Advocate Alma to maybe give us some insights from her point of view, and then while we wait for the meeting to take place. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable McDonald. Happy. Thank you. Thank you very much. There it is. The third item, which is minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes. That is the minutes of the 11th of May, which was sent to members, and the minutes of the 18th of May. Can we start with the minutes of 11th of May? Are we ready? th of May, are we ready? Right. Any corrections? Members?
Hello, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Mondise.
No, I think I don't have any correction. Only the one thing that I want to check, the spelling of Mabena, is that M-A-B-E-N-A or H? I'm trying to check that one because Mabena, others are M-A-B-A-N-A. And the other chairperson, I want to propose that we must accept the minute.
Mabena is M-A-B-E-N-A.
No, Chair. I think Mabena is M-A-B-H-E-N-A.
Mabe. Oh, okay.
M-A-B-H-E-N-A. Tabonga Sibali.
M-A-B-H-E-N-A. Okay. Thank you, Honorable Mabena. Honorable Keta Mabala has proposed that we accept the minutes of the 11th.
I'm seconding the motion, Chair.
The motion is seconded. The motion is seconded. Let's go to the minutes of the 18th of May. Any corrections?
Chairperson.
Honorable Mangu.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. On number 4, under the presentation by Sakar, it's number 4, briefing by Sakar. The Deputy Minister, I don't recall reading an opening statement. I think the statement was read at the beginning of AXA, and she just continued, unless I'm mistaken. That is number 1. Number 2, still further down under 5.4. There is a singling out of the EFF member, and yet in all others, we said members asked, member asked. I propose that we remove EFF there, as we have not mentioned any other political party on all the other minutes or on other references to members. If we go further up, I started at the bottom because it was closest to me, 3.10. AXA was asked to provide a breakdown on the number of cases it currently had in the courts and its budgeted amounts for legal fees. I'm just trying to dig my mind. I don't recall that point unless I just took a nap, Chairperson, but I'm not correcting whether it is the right, but I can't recall it, subject to your correction. 3.8 above also. Halfway through the minutes, after that big AXA claimed that it was generating profit, there is a sentence that starts with, it was noted that the presentation did not focus on revenue and non-aeronautical services. I would propose that because we had limited time and we limited these people, that maybe we rephrase it to say it was noted that the presentation did not cover, not focus. It's technical, it's maybe minute to other people. That's all I have, Chair, as my recommendation. Other than that, I'm happy with the minutes and I'm ready to move for their adoption. Thank you, Chair.
Chair,
Honorable Hunsinger.
Honorable Hunsinger.
Thank you, Chair. I would want to make a counter proposal to my colleague Lisa Mangu, in that I want to propose that the reference to the EFF should be maintained and that all other parties in the future should be recognized in a similar fashion. If that could be accepted and considered as a parallel proposal. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, Honourable MacDonald.
Honourable MacDonald, thank you, Honourable Hunsinger.
Chair, thank you. I would just like to assist Honourable Manchu. It was my question regarding the amount of legal fees spent. It was a question about the Cape Medics that currently, actually, they are going to court tomorrow again, and it seems like AXA's property is going to be auctioned, but that's for another point. And I support Honourable Manchu's proposal. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Noting that the minutes have, for the purpose of this report, been in a way written verbatim. We may go back to our ordinary way of writing minutes, where we would not have these specifics going forward, just indicating, and I think let's accept the fact that for the purpose of these minutes, once we have a format that we are following, not mentioning party's name, we should be able to correct if we're gone out of the format and mentioned one party. I think that is in order. Otherwise, the minutes have been proposed and seconded. Valerie, you want to say something?
Yes, Chair. I just want to say, if there was an objection from a party, when a party says we don't support the APP, if there's an objection, we always have to note it. It happens more with legislation. It's not normally seen when it's a strat plan. But if there's an objection, we have no choice or no option but to mention it.
Okay. The minutes have been accepted, proposed, and seconded. Item.
Chair.
Chair. Sorry, Mr. Sitole, I did not get a mover and a seconder for this item. For 848.
Honorable Mangu moved and Honorable McDonald seconded. Honorable Ketamabala?
No, I'm fine, Chair. I was just saying I'm seconded with the amendment.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Can we discuss the issue of oversight as proposed by Honorable Mangu? Valerie?
Chair, I've promised to get a response before the end of this meeting. I have been communicating with my manager while we were in the meeting. There is a possibility that there might be a program change to allow for processing of the appropriation bill and the amendment bill, so that the week of the 9th is most likely to not be an oversight week anymore. We'll probably know, it will probably be confirmed by Thursday when there's a programming committee. So for now, yeah, it's possible that the committee, there won't be oversight for that week. And it will just be a committee week.
Okay. Honorable Mangu, then Honorable McDonald. Honorable Mangu, unmute.
Thank you very much. My apologies. I was jinxed by Honorable Ketamabala. However, I was saying, Chair, that I do accept and appreciate the response from Ms. Carroll, but I do find it very strange that I am aware that the Department of Health, for me, it's not the matter of the week, whether it's that week or any other week, it's neither here nor there. But it's a principle of conducting oversight. Whilst public transport in particular, trains will be opened now on level 3, and yet we are not doing any form of oversight. The airport will be opening, for instance, we are not doing any oversight. I don't think it augurs well for the work of our committee and the role that we are tasked to do. Whether it happens on the week of the 9th or whatever, for me, it's a matter of fitting it where it does fit. That is my point. We are being limited. In fact, we are being curtailed Of course, one can argue that we can do it as individuals from a party basis, but that is not the idea. The idea is that we are a committee tasked with oversight. We are in different parts of the country, and we can do certain things between or together as those members who are in there. I think that is what we should be doing as a committee. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Manu. Honorable McDonald.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Manju. I'm going to add my chorus to yours because you've covered me mostly on this, and I think you're 100% correct. It can't be right that us as a community facing serious challenges in the transport sector that we can't do oversight, especially with the airports opening and hundreds and maybe thousands of people traveling through the airports all over the country. And also the rail network. I mean, the metro is going to open. We've already had a problem here in the Cape where some of the bus drivers of my city was infected with COVID-19. It is imperative that we as committee members start doing our work and doing oversight. If we don't do oversight, it means that we have become useless to Parliament, and that's straight to the point, Chair. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, members. I think let me, Honorable Hansinger.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I must absolutely concur and agree with my two previous speakers, Honorable Mandu and Honorable McDonald. And I'm seriously concerned as to what this portfolio committee, under the current conditions, in the current situation that we are, regard as important to fill an agenda with. Yes, I absolutely agree that in terms of processes and procedure, structure and instruction, in terms of mandate, we should consider budgets like we had to consider today's agenda item being the report of the committee for the 2021 budget. But this stands firmly within what we have to face going forward, in that the budget is seriously affected. Chair, I would really want to ask that you as the Chair take lead in this regard, and I want to request you as the chairperson of the portfolio committee to take serious direction different to what the portfolio committee of transport has seen in the past, because you, Chair, with our committee run the risk of falling into the same exact pattern of what the previous portfolio committee in the previous term has, and that is a portfolio committee which is toothless and a portfolio committee which is directionless. A portfolio committee which is led by the agenda of the department instead of fulfilling its mandate of proper oversight and keeping our minister to account. We are in a crisis. We are amidst a serious condition which should focus our direction and our agenda with different items. We currently sit with the Road Accident Fund, for instance, which is not regarded as an essential service. This is something which we should tackle and discuss and engage with. We sit with a situation of a serious condition around public transport, as my colleague has mentioned, Honorable McDonald, and we seriously need to engage at this stage as to what the department's plans are for a post-COVID situation and condition. Yet we are struggling to find items to discuss, and we are considering all sorts of academic things, whereas this is the committee tasked and mandated with direct oversight. So, Chair, please, I ask you to take lead and to avoid this committee falling into the same pattern as what previous portfolio committees have been, toothless and directionless. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable May, followed by Honorable Nolichungu.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. I agree 100% with the previous speakers as far as oversight is concerned. Thank you.
Honorable Nolichungu.
Thank you, Chair. I also agree with the previous speakers, but I also want to propose that in our oversight program, we include the minibus taxi facilities. Thank you.
Okay,
Chair.
members. Yeah, Honorable Keta Mobala.
Yes, Chairperson. Chairperson, no, I do agree with other members because I was visited one day. I visited to our taxi rank in Jamestown. You see, my friend, when we are talking about Chairperson, if you are talking about sanitation, sanitation and the distancing is actually just a dream, because if we are not overseeing this, what is happening in railway, because even in railway in Jamestown, I did go there. I found that although the trains are not operating, but it seems that there is no program that is going to sanitize the station of Jamestown. I think even the other stations are like that. So now I think I do agree with other members that we have to be proactive now and see what we want to do in the portfolio committee. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, honorable members. That is in order. That is our resolution today. That it is prudent that we should be doing our work, even under these circumstances. I've actually seen one committee doing an oversight, the Committee on Home Affairs. And we should be able to do our oversight. I think let's pass that message, Valerie, to the programming committee. Oversight is part of our work. We must do it. Anyway, members of parliament are declared as essential service package. So we should be able to use that to play our oversight. Let's find a space and do exactly that. I think I agree with that. With that, Honorable Manu.
Chair, thank you very much. One other thing that I wanted to propose that we consider, I think it just slipped through, I raised it earlier, is an update, regular update on COVID. I know of a committee where they've received no less than 3 updates so far on COVID. Because it's another thing to say the taxi industry is going to be assisted. But we can't wait for the taxi industry to threaten a strike for us to wake up and say, oh, they were never assisted. We must get regular updates. I'm picking up that taxi industry just as an example. But we need regular updates. What is happening? You know, and I think we need to consider it in what we're doing going forward. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. If I recall well, members, chairs, Honorable Manu, we had opened a WhatsApp group called COVID-19, which Advocate Alma is doing well up to so far. But I get your point, Honorable Manu, to say, let's get those briefings from time to time. In fact, we can even use the same WhatsApp group for the department to, from time to time, keep us informed in terms of what is happening. And because you had already mentioned it, I thought in the next meeting we'll also request the department to give us a 15-20 minutes briefing on COVID-19. Otherwise, when we do not have meetings from time to time, we should use that platform, which we all agreed that it should be used. Honorable Hansinger.
Thank you, Chair. And I thank you for the WhatsApp group that was created through your request and initiative. But, Chair, the problem that I have is that nothing about transport is mentioned on that WhatsApp group. I do appreciate all the updates around our situation with regards to infections and tracking and testing and all of that. But there's nothing mentioned of transport on that WhatsApp group. So I want to put it on record that it, in fact, has not fulfilled in its purpose and in its objective. Furthermore, Chair, I think we should not get permission from the programming committee to do oversight or to have oversight. In this regard, I expect you as the chairperson to take lead and to arrange a meeting with the Road Accident Fund, for instance, and for us as a committee to have an engagement with the Road Accident Fund as to why the Road Accident Fund is not regarded as an essential service. It is excluded, and it excludes a lot of people of access and of normal functioning of a very, very important department. So that is the type of oversight I would expect that we could do even on a virtual platform in an engagement and interaction with applicable and specific transport-related matters given COVID-19 that we currently have to deal with. Other issues I've raised on social platform, like our truckers not having access to a decent meal. I've submitted comprehensive requests to the department. I have approached the DG, Mr. Alec Boomy, on several occasions through WhatsApp. He has not answered one of those WhatsApps, and I put it on record. He refuses to answer any of my WhatsApp requests in this since, well, all of my WhatsApps, in fact. So, Chair, things are not looking well. Things are not functioning. Oversight is not working. And we need to get a structured and a very focused direction going forward if this portfolio committee wants to play a role and want to fulfill its function in any way. It is a year after we started with this committee, Chair, and I think this is the time where it would either compromise or stand its position and make a difference in the future. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. I hear you clearly. Let's not harp on this matter. I think we agree going forward. Let me take Honorable McDonald.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. I know for a fact that you're going to take lead on this, Chair. I just wanted to add on to this WhatsApp group that it would be nice if the department can keep us informed on their meetings with entities and their specifically, you know, we read everything in the media, and I think that it's time that this portfolio committee knows what's going to happen before the media gets to know what's going to happen, because it seems like we are playing catch up in the portfolio committee when we're supposed to be doing oversight on them, but it's impossible to do oversight if it's already happened, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay. Valerie?
Chair, I have a question. I just have one issue of clarity. It's not the programming committee who approved oversight. They set out the parameters for the framework for the Parliament program. So they would indicate when it's oversight and when it's committee period. The issue with oversight has to be taken up with the House Chair. So it would be good to have an indication on where members want to do oversight, Chair, for that to happen. So if we know that the oversight has to be at PRASA or the Road Accident Fund, then that would assist. The other issue, Chair, is the COVID follow-up. If do members intend to have a meeting? And if so, there is space available from now on in next week's program, possibly from 6 o'clock in the evening. There's a slot open for meetings. So we need to have at least an indication today to inform the department that the committee wants to have a meeting on this day about COVID, so that we can start following up on that.
Well, thanks, Valerie. I was just indicating with all the humility that the programming committee should be made aware of our decision. We will take this matter up with the chair. Members have already said, proposed that we should deal with oversight on the side of the road accident fund. I've heard them very well saying that. The other one, which is pending, of course, is Sanral. Earlier on, members were saying we should know where we stand with Sanral and the decision of the department on the issues of GFIP. I think those are the two I've heard clearly. Honorable Noluchunga has then raised an issue of oversight on the bus what. You captured it correctly. Okay. And the other suggestion is about PRASA.
Airport, Chair.
Yeah, PRASA, readiness. We talked with the administrator the other day, but let's oversight there. And airports, AXA. I think for now, those are issues that have come to the fore. And let me say to the members, we will not fail each other. We will do our work diligently. And I want to thank you for having kept this portfolio committee professional, understanding where we needed to understand. There is an issue, Valerie, that this committee is raising all the time. And the last time we talked about, I think we agreed that we should get into that space, the issue of panel vans, that report. I think that report must come to the fore now, deal with it and items that we needed to do, including this 6 o'clock meeting where we'll be briefed about COVID-19. But let's put it on record that the briefing should not only be waiting for a meeting. I think that's what we are saying. Let's use that WhatsApp group so that we don't wait for the meeting. We are on top of the situation. We can respond. We can suggest after getting an indication what is happening. I think members are right. So would you allow me, members, that we have exhausted all the business of the day today? And with that, I should take this opportunity to thank you, the honorable members, that I've seen today on my screen. I have not seen Honorable Mapena. I have not seen Honorable Shabangu. I think we lost Honorable Ramatwa in the process She could not come back. She left the meeting. Oh, there is Honorable Mapena. Thank you, honorable members, for the day. Representatives of the departments, officials, thank you for the good work you are doing for this committee. Let's move forward. We want to have nice meetings all the time. We should understand when the going gets tough and buckle up and be able to work for the people of South Africa. The meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you very much. You can leave the meeting. Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Goodbye
Thank you.
to all of
us.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chair.
everybody. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Chair.
Mr. Prosser.
Thank you.
night.